Okay, and so hey YouTube, it's Darkbyte here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys the second tutorial on Java. And today we're going to be working with something called variables. Now, what's a variable, you guys might be wondering? A variable is basically just a way for you to store a value on the computer for later use or for use whatever. So, to declare a variable, well, first off, there's multiple types of variables in Java. You've got your basic integer variable, which can just store whole numbers. So we're gonna call this whole number because that kind of integers store whole numbers, and I just felt like calling it that. And then we're just gonna set it to a value. You guys can set it to whatever you want, but I'm gonna set it to 1 because 1 is awesome. Then you've got, so say you don't want to store a whole number and you want to store something that's a decimal number. You can store it inside something called a float. So we're going to call this decimal number, and we're going to set it to like 3.14 because I like pi. Now, as you can see, it's coming out with an error for some reason. Now, this error is because when you're creating a float, you have to declare the fact that it's not just an integer. For some reason, the compiler just likes it for you to do that. You can do it in one way or another way. You can just go float here, and then that works fine. But that's a lot harder than just writing an F at the back of the thing, and that solves all the problems as well. So when I wrote the bracket thing in front, that's called casting, and we'll go into that in a future tutorial as well. Now, say you want to make another value, but you don't want to have to write the F. So we can call the double type of variable. Now, the double is basically just another type of decimal number, but it's not as widely supported as float, since floats are much more accurate. Floats also let you hold slightly larger numbers and stuff. Doubles, you should just generally stay away from them. It's just good practice in programming. It's one of those kind of things. Not many things use doubles, so it's just, we're just going to call this unicorn because I'm not sure, because we've already done whole number and decimal number, so unicorn's the next logical thing. So we're going to set this to 5.42, but you guys can set it again to whatever you want. So then the next one is, so what about if we don't want to store numbers and we want to store something like text? So we've already looked at this very briefly, but we can call a string. So a string is basically just alphanumeric data. That gives you a kind of overview of what this could be and what it's sending to the compiler. Eventually you guys will be able to figure this out as we go through more tutorials, but that's for you guys to figure out, and for me to know and laugh at you guys for not knowing it. Hey. Alright, so we're going to call this string alpha. Actually, it's not just alphanumerical data, because you can store stuff like this in there, whatever you want. But when you're creating a string, everything has to be inside speech marks, or inside quotation marks. But it's best to use speech marks, because, it's just general practice, and using quotation marks is not always supported. So what we're going to do is we're going to call this string, and we're going to call it name, and I'm going to put my name in there, so that's going to be like Darkbyte. And then after that, I'm going to call Boolean. Yeah, that's the next logical one. So Boolean. So what about if you want to store something, and you want to store a true or false value, but you don't want to have to rely on, text. You just want to be able to write true straight up or false, without having to put all those speech marks, or without having to worry about the data being changed in any way. Well, it's simple. We can just call a Boolean, and we're going to call this T or F or Torf. So Torf is an awesome name. So yeah, I can imagine calling my son Torf now. So you know what? I'm gonna set it to true because Torf is awesome and that's true. So yeah. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to show you how this is used. So you know what?
Why do you sound American when you make videos?
I don't know. That's actually a very good question.
You have a slightly foreign accent. Yes, when you start making videos, you suddenly turn American. It's very funny.
It is very funny. Wow. Alright, so wow, you just enlightened me.
You just enlightened me.
I don't really sound that bad.
Yes, you do.
Ah, God. Alright.
Oh, God.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Okay, so we're gonna be okay, so we're just gonna write down the number we chose was and then put a space, because Java doesn't automatically put spaces for you. Then we put whole number, so we can call that straight. We can just call whole number straight from, without having to call the what type of data type it is. You only have to call that once. So whole number. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go and put another bit. So we're going to put another plus and open up another set of speech marks, and then put the other number we chose was, and then put in the float whatever the name you put. So decimal number we chose was, and then put decimal number, and then the last number, I promise, because obviously we gotta be honest with the computer, otherwise it can never trust us. I promise, dude. The last number I chose was, and then just put in the double that you put. So why am I writing double? I called it unicorn. Unicorn. So plus unicorn. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just put that onto another bit, because obviously we just did that's actually quite long. It'll be a bit shorter because obviously we won't be using it won't print out the names, and it'll print out the actual values stored. So here we go. We're just going to go print ln, and there we go. And as you can see, you guys saw it's actually just printing out a string. So if you're creating a string, then you can use pluses as well. That's one of the other uses of the concatenation operator. You can simply add on to a string, so decimal number. So all of this is just one big long string that we're creating. So yeah, we're going to be running into other data types later on, like objects and stuff, but for now we don't have to worry about this. And then we're just going to say my name is, and then space, and then put in the name variable, then call am I awesome, and then the answer is, and then put in the whatever you put there. You guys can do whatever you want, but this is just what I'm doing because that's just my preference. So there we go. Alright, so if we run this program now by clicking this again, there we go. Alright, so the number, oh wait, I forgot to get rid of that. Alright, whoops. Alright, so here we go. The number we chose was 1. The other number we chose was 3.14. The last number, I promise dude, I chose was 5.42. My name is Darkbyte. Oh, whoops, forgot to put a space there. There we go. Let's run this again. Alright, so am I awesome? The answer is true. So, that's about all we have for variables, for now at least. But I'll be seeing you guys next tutorial, and next time we're going to be looking at something that's going to help us with a bit of like the logic stuff, and it's going to be awesome. So I'll see you guys next time.